All right. So check this out, Josh. So for question number 4, I assume you're talking about the sample test from today. You have this statement: James Logan High School just got a new shipment of Chromebooks issued to the students. The school received touchscreen Chromebooks and regular screen Chromebooks. All right, so here it is. There were a total of 100 Chromebooks. That's a really important idea right there. That tells you know exactly how many Chromebooks we're getting total. And you also, right after that, you find out that the cost, right, of all 100 Chromebooks is going to be $12,320. That's an important idea right there. Now, um, what I don't know is how many of each Chromebook I got and then how much each Chromebook costs. So I'm going to keep reading. So if the touchscreen Chromebook costs 440, all right, there we go. We now know the cost. And the normal screen Chromebook cost 80. So we now know the cost of each of the Chromebooks individually. We need to write a system to determine the number of, okay, this is the goal to the problem. So when you read the question, this is one of the things I do when I try to write word problems. When you read the question, this indicates what you're really looking for here. So write a system of equations to determine the number of touchscreen and regular screen Chromebooks. We don't know how many of each type of Chromebook we're getting. So that right there indicates to me that we now know our variables. So my variables is going to be the number of touchscreen Chromebooks. That's going to be my first variable, and the number of regular screen Chromebooks. That'll be my second variable. Generally, the variables I'd like to use are the variables that are associated with these. So I would probably use T to represent how many touchscreen Chromebooks we're going to be using. So I'd be like, all right, so we're going to go T with that. And then I'd probably be using R for the regular screen Chromebooks. So T stands for how many touchscreen we have, R stands for how many regular Chromebooks. Now, I don't know how many either of those I have, but what I do know is right here, I know I have a total of 100 of them. So when I read this problem, it says I have a total of 100 Chromebooks. That means the touchscreen and the regular, if I add them together, I should come up with a total of 100. And this is our first equation. T plus R is equal to 100. Now, something else I know is that when I buy these Chromebooks, the total amount of money I'm going to be spending is 12,320. All right, so when I'm looking at that, I'm like, okay, so I'm going to spend a total of 12,320. But I also know that the Chromebooks that are touchscreen cost 440, which means if I multiply this 440 by the T, right, how many Chromebooks I'm going to buy that are touchscreen times how much each one costs, I'll get the price that I'm going to spend on all the touchscreen ones, right? So if I bought one touchscreen, 1 times 440. If I bought two touchscreens, 2 times 440. In this case, since I don't know the actual value of touchscreens, I'm just going to say 440 times T. So we have 440 times T. And then if I add and do the same exact thing for my regular Chromebooks, which is $80. So I have $80 times R. I know that that'll give me my total price of everything I'm buying. So I know that these two numbers right here, when I add them together, that's going to give me my total price, which was 12,320. So I'm going to say 12,320. Now this is a system I can solve. I would probably, so if you haven't figured out the notation, I like to call the first equation E1. It just makes things simpler, and then E2. I would multiply to get the R's gone. Some students are getting rid of the T's. Totally fine. You get the same exact answer. I'm going to get rid of the R's. So I'm going to say negative 80 times E1, right? So E1 is the red equation. And then I'm just going to add the second equation to it. So that's just me writing down the notation. Like, this is what I'm about to do. So I'm about to multiply the first equation by negative 80, add it to the second equation. This gives us negative 80 T minus 80 R. Let's make that look more like a T. So we got negative 80 T minus 80 R. And then negative 80 times 100 is going to be negative 8,000. That's the red equation. And then it says E2, and E2 is just the green equation. So I'll just write 440T plus 80R. Sweet. Equals 12,320. Go ahead and solve this system right here. The 80s cancel. We get 360. 360T is equal to, subtract 12,320 from 8,000, or 8,000 from 12,320. This gives us 4,320. And then we divide both sides of our equation by 360 to solve for T. Now this gives us a T of 12. So now we know that we're going to have a total of 12 touchscreen Chromebooks. So my first answer is 12 touchscreen. And then I have to figure out how many regular. But since I know that the number of touchscreen plus the regular is 100, I just have to plug in the 12 for the T, solve for R, and this gives us that the R is 88. So we know we're going to have a total of 12 touchscreen Chromebooks and 88 regular screen Chromebooks delivered to Logan. And that is how I would solve a question like number 4. I'll make a video for number 5 and I'll hit you up as soon as I'm done.